Hey everyone, it's Faye Features, and today we are playing Survive Min, which has been developed by Father. Survive Min is a psychological horror dating sim which features you, the poor, kind-hearted individual who is subjected to the whims of a childish, changeable serial killer, who just happens to be undead as well. It's just you and him in your cramped apartment bedroom, and it's either getting impaled or getting impaled. Sexily. Basically, do or die. Before we get started with the video, I'd like to feature the developer's content warning. So as seen on the screen, it reads, "This game contains themes of murder, cannibalism, and sexual violence. Such acts must stay in fiction or fantasy and not condoned in real life. Play discretion is advised." I'd just like to clarify that the sexual violence which is mentioned in the original content warning includes both non-fatal and fatal strangulation or choking, as well as non-consensual sexual acts in the game. Non-consensual sexual activity refers to any sexual act that occurs without a person's freely given consent. This includes situations where consent was never given, where someone is coerced or manipulated into participating, or where consent is withdrawn at any point and the activity continues. This game also depicts emotional abuse, coercive control, manipulation, and gaslighting between characters. All the behaviours mentioned are forms of abuse. They are harmful, unacceptable in real life, and no one deserves to experience them. If you or someone you know is experiencing sexual, emotional, or physical abuse from a current or former partner, family member, or another person in your life, these may be forms of domestic or family violence. Please consider reaching out to a trusted person or an appropriate support service in your area. This playthrough is intended solely as a discussion and playthrough of a fictional work. It does not endorse, promote, or excuse any abusive, violent, or non-consensual behavior depicted within the game. Please take care of yourself while watching and feel free to stop the video at any time if you find the content distressing. I've been having trouble sleeping these past few weeks. Hearing about the strange deaths, the neighborhood rumors, and whatever the hell keeps making those noises outside after 2 a.m. has made rest a little difficult to achieve lately. But now, the neighborhood has gone weirdly quiet. No voices outside, no wandering footsteps, not even knocking on my windows. I stayed completely still in bed, suddenly very aware that all noises that used to be outside sound much closer now. Because tonight, it's coming from my room. I can't sleep. The words barely make it past my lips, a terrible attempt to ease my nerves. I stared up at the ceiling, the right side of the room, then my left. Nothing moved. The room sits heavy around me. The faint outline of furniture is exactly where it should be. Desk, chair, door, window, everything is in place. Still, something feels off. I'm way too paranoid about this. I slowly close my eyes back shut. I should just sleep. Maybe I'll stop thinking about it if A voice suddenly speaks from somewhere beside my bed.
Hello, princess. Daddy here.
You're really pretty when you sleep. Well, if we are talking about looking pretty tired from having to deal with shenanigans at work while being underpaid and looking pretty ugly when I'm asleep, because we all know that sleeping in old shirts and pants is the most comfortable, then yes, I would agree that I'm really pretty when I sleep. But then again, the taste of someone who would break into your house is probably not following the conventional sort. So maybe I should just accept this really weird compliment. Shit! I looked around in panic. Where the hell did that come from? The room is too dark for me to see him clearly. I can only make out the outline of someone sitting near me, sounding far too comfortable for someone who absolutely should not be in my room. Then the mattress sinks slightly. Who are you? And I know you. Yes, I certainly must know you. You remind me of the group members I used to deal with who would keep me up at night and make my hope sink every time an agreed deadline was reached. Just like how you made the bed sink when you sat next to me. Because no one would contribute anything. And they almost dragged me into my academic death, which I'm suspecting you're also going to drag me into, but not in the academic form. It's going to be in the physical, my life terminated form. But hopefully, with my very smart, sexy brain, I would be able to not die. So, let's just select who are you? Even if it's the most stupid option possibly. I can't fake that I know him, right? So, let's select who are you? Who are you? Silence. The thing in front of me just stares. The mattress creaks softly beside me. Something cold touches the side of my neck. Now, I don't like when people touch my neck. I don't find it sexy. I don't find it romantic. Get your hands off of me. Oh. The last thing I hear is a quiet, unpleasant sound somewhere between a sigh and a growl. Bad question? Did we just die already? Death ending? Wow, my smart, sexy brain is obviously not very smart and sexy. Oh my god, I never ever had my confidence reduced in a matter of less than 10 minutes. You know what? This is already a really great game in general. It depicts how people who are abusers slowly dismantle your sense of confidence, your sense of power, your sense of being able to trust in your own skills and abilities to defend yourself as well as the people who are important to you. And that is how they make you dependent on them, which just continues that unhealthy cycle. So, the dev is already doing a great job. I'm already questioning myself. I'm already losing my sense of self-confidence. Oh my god. So, let's reset and hopefully be able to get back our confidence again. So apparently I was meant to recognize my sleep paralysis demon that I've never, ever, ever met before in real life. But you know what? I understand. It hurts not receiving the same love you wish to receive from your lover. But Min, just so you know, trauma actually wipes out people's memories. So you should have given me some mercy before I died. And also, I already get it, you don't need to say it. I'm not doing a very good job at what the game is asking me to do, which is to survive Min. I didn't even survive through 2 option choices. So it's probably not a good sign for me. But when life is hard, as Bear Grylls once say, you survive, adapt, and overcome. So now that I know that who are you is not the option, I'm now going to overcome that by saying, I know you. The figure pauses, the tension in the room shifting ever so slightly. If I sell it, maybe this can be a tomorrow me problem. Yeah, let's just BS our way into survival. I do it for the smaller things anyway, and let's be honest, we all do that. Like, for example, let's say, what is something less important than our lives? Okay, applying for a job. When we apply for a job, we really try to sell ourselves and make it sound like we have confidence in ourselves and our ability to execute every single task perfectly, even if we don't have the knowledge to do so yet. So if you can learn skills on the job, we can probably learn to feel around what Min operates like and how we can survive, right? Oh, you do? Yeah, there's been rumors, around the neighborhood. And the noises and stuff. Wow, am I that famous? Well, if it's true that Min is helping out with the noise pollution, he's a protector of the environment. Maybe that'll make it easier for us to approach him. He's not a murderer anymore. He's a protector of the environment. The murderer and the exterminator of noise pollution. I mean, why wouldn't I be? Yep, all I've been hearing all week. Ha ha. Please work, please work, please work. Really? You know me so well. Oh, that worked? Phew. Is what I would say if you were clever. Wow, Min, you didn't have to go for the jugular. Even if you came into my house uninvited, you should follow some basic etiquette, like not insulting the host, the owner of this place. You could have at least done me the service of entertaining my stupidity without pointing it out. Rude. But then again, maybe I'm asking for too much. I should be asking for the bottom line, which is keeping me alive. So, maybe I'm being delusional by asking for him to be polite and respectful. Never mind. All hope is lost. I'm so dead. He just stared and smiled at me. You're not very good at bluffing, are you? My stomach drops. I looked away. Most people would have started panicking by now. The mattress creaks softly beside me. Something lightly brushes a strand of hair away from my face. Now this would have been romantic if I'm not worried about dying all the time. Hey. Look at me. He sounded amused. Like hell I would. Honestly, if I ignore him long enough... Oh, come on, don't be rude. Me? Rude? Excuse me? Pardon? You were the one who was rude to me first. Like, if I have to mention this again, and I will, first you broke into my apartment, you then prevented me from being able to have my beauty sleep, and then you literally killed me after I said 2 lines. And you dare to call me rude? I don't even think it's an allegation, but right now you're being a hypocrite. I've got real good visuals, Well, Min, unfortunately, I can barely see that because my room is probably pretty much pitch dark right now, and you're the only one with a supernatural ability to probably see in the dark. I can't be that repulsive to you, can I? He sighed. Tisk. You're kind of stubborn, huh? I don't think I'm stubborn. I'm just really value my life. Suddenly, a cold hand grabbed my face with rough force. Okay, maybe because the first time I was more shocked by the fact that I was dying. But I wish my brain continued to operate like that because I can't tell if it's a silhouette, but look at his chest. Respectfully, the silhouette makes it look like he's a bigger chest than me. He's more well endowed than me. God, I'm being cold like the theories of Mendel's peas because my brain cannot get itself out the gutter. Like, imagine you die and the last thought that your brain processes is like, wow, my murderer has a bigger set of jugs than me. Yeah, I'm going to contemplate that for a little bit. My eyes snapped back to him immediately. There you go, darling. That wasn't so hard, was it? Well, if it were a life or death scenario, there could be other things that are hard right now. Okay, no. That's inappropriate. This bastard. Well, the word that I just said is even more inappropriate. Apparently, this thing's solution to being ignored is brute effing force. He wasn't lying, though. The figure in front of me was pretty. Nice to know that MZ was hypnotized for possibly the same reasons. But to defend me, MC, and all of us viewing this video, Min was asking for it. Like, he literally grabbed our face, so we have no choice but to look what is in front of us. And also, he literally wore his shirt so that we can see that part of his body. Like, it's purposeful. He had kind of dragged the shirt down on, this would be his right side of his shoulder, just so we can see his boob window, or the start of it. Because his collarbones are really, really evident. Sharp features, dark hair falling loosely over his eyes, and skin pale enough to look like he just crawled out of his own grave. A little too pale. If he smiled normally, he'd probably pass off as a pretty cute guy. Unfortunately, he doesn't. The curve of his smile sits just a little too wide, and he's staring at me like he's pleased I finally looked at him. It's so effing creepy. Like the view, I can feel cold fingers slowly curl against my throat. Now, Min is obviously not a STEM student. If he was, he obviously wasn't a good one. You see, if you want a non-biased result, you shouldn't threaten your participant to give a certain answer. So, if we extend on that logic, that means that my answer shouldn't be trusted. It is not a valid, reputable response. Because I obviously have a motive, which is to survive. So, when I say yes, it means it's probably no, I'm just saying this to protect my life. When I say I'm not sure, it's just me being polite, because even if I thought you were ugly because of your threatening and emotionally manipulative behavior towards me, I'm just being polite. I just want to live. And ill. I mean, that's the only one that, well, he's not unattractive, like just based on his looks. But when we say in conjunction with his behavior, I mean, debatable. But let's, for the sake of keeping ourselves alive, let's choose the option yes. His smile shifts slightly. Good. I was hoping you had taste. I gotta be honest right now, Min. It's not about taste. It's about the ravenous hunger I have to keep my life. To protect this life you can easily crush with your very strong hands. His fingers loosened just a fraction. A thumb then brushed across my bottom lip. It was surprisingly gentle. Want to take a closer look? I swiftly look away for a brief moment. Was my gawking that obvious? Ugh, that's embarrassing. Slowly, I looked back at him. With slight hesitation, I nodded. The silence hung awkwardly. He still did not move an inch. Is he dense? I scrunched my brows and lifted my head slightly in confusion. Darling, I need you to use your words. Okay? I'm gonna ask you again. Would you like to take a closer look? Yeah. The word is a surrender. I can feel the mattress dip further as he shifts his body. He doesn't move away. Instead, he closes the distance until his pale face is all I can see. Hey, don't you want to touch me? Bold effer. His skin is cold, inhuman. Every movement is deliberate and cocky. He knows exactly what he's doing to me, and he's enjoying the power trip. So adorable. Oh my. Min, no wonder you didn't smile like that earlier. I think I found your weakness. The thing you're most insecure about is your lack of teeth. Like, having a good set of teeth can do so much for elevating your sense of self-confidence and your face card overall. Like, I'm sure all of us have seen those ads where in the dentist's office, they'll have like a picture of like a family, and they might either choose a mother or the father, and they'll like give them the worst set of teeth, and then they'll say, did you notice, what is the first thing that you notice in this poster? And it's the bad set of teeth, not the fact that, for example, maybe their hair was messy. So it just draws attention to the fact how important it is for you to maintain your oral hygiene or to see your dentist regularly if you have the financial ability to do so. So like, Min, let's have a heart-to-heart. What about we put aside you killing me and I'll pay the very hefty dentist bill for you instead, like to have like a whole set new of teeth. You know? Like a whole set of new teeth. That is so expensive. You're basically going to have my life anyway because I'll need to work off my ass for the rest of my life to be able to afford like getting you dentures without having any form of government incentive to fund for even a portion of it. Well, what about we do that instead rather than swallowing me whole? I feel like I could just swallow you whole. Like, maybe I can be the sole exception for you not killing me because I funded you the pair of teeth that will allow you to cannibalize and tear into the meat of other people. Yeah? The world shrinks to the size of this bed. The rustle of the sheets and the feeling of him looming over me becomes everything. I forget that he broke into my room. I forget that he was just threatening to devour me. I feel chosen, which is exactly what he wants. Later, the adrenaline begins to settle. He's still on top of me. The intimacy from moments ago has evaporated into a sudden, jarring chill. Suddenly, my body feels heavy. My heart rate slows to a crawl, and a numb sensation spreads from my chest to my limbs. What's happening? He stares me down. His face is a mask of darkness. You really are a darling, you know that? So sweet, so incredibly easy to read. I try to push him off, but I can't even lift my hands. My vision starts to blur into static. I'd stay and chat, but you're starting to look a little pale. He leans down, his lips brushing against my ear as my eyes begin to close for the last time. Don't be too trusting of strangers. Death ending, stranger danger. Well, they say 3 times lucky. So obviously that means I have to die the second time that I do my playthrough, you know? But aside from my growing frustration and my growing sense, well, not even growing sense, my growing lack of confidence, I just have to say it again. The dev really portrays the abuser and the abused or the victim or victim survivor dynamic really, really well. Because often what abusers do is that they often make individuals feel like that they're acting a certain way that will allow them to be safe. And then they'll quickly withdraw that sense of safety. So that way they can kind of encourage the victim survivor to act in a way that's even more subservient to them in order to continue that sense of safety. In this case, obviously, Min made MC kind of lower her guard in order to do something to her or to them, because I think this is a gender neutral MC. And obviously, since MC wasn't able to change their behavior, it led to their death. Well, hopefully we'll have a third time lucky. Hopefully. I'm just going to frame this experience that Min is the toxic relationship I need in my life right now for self-improvement. You see, I genuinely have this belief that the higher beings will give you one toxic relationship during each phase of your life to make you stronger. For example, just say, well, at least for me, when I was in my teenage years, it was in the form of my academics and the teachers that will give me an unnecessarily hard time and make it so difficult for me to achieve good grades. And then when I was finished with university and my high school career, it sometimes comes in the form of friends that are not necessarily healthy for you, or romantic partners that might be self-centered or need to heal from their own emotional wounds. So my point is, this is a toxic relationship that I need right now, because I don't have any other toxic relationships in my life currently. So since it's meant to make me improve, I am not going to make the logical choice of, hey, this guy is super, super unpredictable and probably bad for my mental health because he's making me question my judgment. Instead, I'm going to say, if I conquer Min, I become that much better. So let's say this time, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Hi, not sure.
Hey, what's going on?
Nothing.
If someone killed me and then brought me back to life and said this to my face, I would actually cry and beg them to end me again. Like, you already took away so much of my dignity and ability to live, and then you subject me to this? Criminal. I'm sorry. Min, you're so strange, so quirky, so unpredictable. You apologize for making a horrendous dad joke, and yet you won't apologize for murdering me. So apparently on his list, the greatest offense is a bad dad joke over murder. Well, thank goodness he isn't a lawyer. Because goodness gracious, would our criminal and justice system be so corrupt? Sigh. Min. So that's his name. Hee hee. So, do you just stay indoors all day? You say this as if it's meant to be an insult. If that was the intention, Min, just to let you know, you failed. I wear it like a badge of pride, for it means that I avoid being in crowded places under the hot sun, and I'm avoiding freezing temperatures and rain. Plus, the longer you stay outside, the more likely you are to encounter a murderer. Well, that's what I thought until now. Because that theory doesn't factor in mythological murderers that can phase through your walls and get to you. Don't you have friends your age? Oh, okay, I see now. The previous insult was lackluster because he was preparing us to let down our guard so we can reel from this one. Absolutely. I'm speechless, I'm wordless. I don't even know what word can be used in the dictionary to describe his behavior other than audacious. Of course I do. That was a lie. Okay, then you definitely should have heard about me. What is this guy on about? I've heard stories, but they don't usually involve the monster insulting my social life. Well, the stories are usually written by bystanders who have little to no information about me. It's a real tragedy, honestly. So, what's the local gossip? Am I a vengeful spirit? A demon? Oh! A super handsome yandere serial killer cannibal that all the ladies fall for? Min, maybe instead of pursuing a career of being a serial killer, maybe you can use your imagination and creativity to be a fan fiction writer instead. If it's a third one, I'm impressed. They mostly say you're something to avoid. Avoid? Wow, that is so boring. People are so pedestrian. He shifts his weight, sitting cross-legged on the mattress like he's about to start a sleepover gossip session, though his eyes still have that unsettling glow. Be honest, if I decided to actually bite you right now, would you give me a really loud, ugly screech? You know what, Min? Because you expect me to screech like a piglet, maybe I'll really throw you off by moaning instead. Like, I'm sure he'll be so viscerally offended and surprised that he'll literally recoil away from me. Like...
Yes, I know, but have you not figured out that you've already been captured? Yeah?
I think that's actually a solid plan. You're making me uncomfortable. Of course I am. I'm a great harasser. See? Just referencing back to my previous plan, if I become the harasser, the one who makes him feel violated, he'll probably get off my case. Because people can never deal with it when they're facing someone that is exactly like them. Because just imagine you're standing yourself, like in front of a mirror, and you just see magnified at you all the things about yourself you dislike or things that you find in yourself that you also find annoying in other people. You know, like negative and negative clash. They never attract. Was that an IDV reference? Plus, you look like you taste like... cookies, cream, and what? Daddy issues. You're insane. I'm not insane. I'm literally on my last straw before I lower myself to being the harasser too. Min, you better watch yourself. Okay, that's enough. Hee, sorry. I'm just very excited to talk to you. This guy is starting to feel more like an annoyance than a threat. And you see, this is, I'm sure, how he'll get down our guard as well. And then kill us. I'm sure of it. At this point, I'm sure of it. I don't have any hope in my ability to survive, Min. The title is becoming more and more ironic the further we go into this video. You know, killing is easy. And you know what else is easy? Not killing people. I think not killing people is actually easier. Like, to kill someone, you have to first locate where they are, and then you have to also understand their habits. You also have to make sure that no one of their family members or their loved ones is around them. So that means also you need to have knowledge of their friends and family. And then you need to find the equipment. And then you need to consider how you're going to hide the evidence after you commit the deed. And not only in the short term, but in the future until you die. So frankly, I don't think killing is meant to be easy. But finding someone who actually stays awake long enough to be interesting, that's a 1 in a trillion. Why the shrimp jokes? Where was the foundation for this really disgustingly bad pun? No, don't. You're the 1 in my trillion. Oh my effing God. It's a shrimple as that. I'll shove a shrimp in your mouth. Alright, whatever. What's your deal anyway, aside from being a creep? He pauses. For a split second, the annoying know-it-all grin drops, and he just looks tired. I just want someone to look at me and not run away immediately. It gets repetitive. You kill people because you're bored? Min, I think we need to get you onto some alternate hobbies. Like, maybe you can direct your boredom into a game like, I don't know, and sorry for committing a big, bad swear word, League of Legends. Your craving to kill people both physically and emotionally will be justified in that game. Like, your teammates will love you if you kill all the enemies and get like a pentakill or whatever it is. And no one will hate you if you flame your teammates if they don't do well. Like, it's valid. It's a valid response to crash out if your teammates are quote-unquote noobs. You're already up late at night anyways, and you obviously have the ability to tilt and be very unpredictable, so being a gamer boy wouldn't be too hard of a transition. Don't make it sound so depressing. You'd do the same if you were in my shoes. I don't think I would. Min. There's really not much to do when you're dead, you know. Like I suggested before, maybe you can find another hobby, or I don't know, maybe you could watch all the extra spin-off of the old series that you used to watch, or maybe look at the remake multiple years later and insult whether, especially if the new actors were worse than the predecessors. Like, there's so much you could do aside from killing. Sympathize with him and ask how did he die. Well, I'm obviously not going to sympathize with him. Like, not yet at least. I'm going to ask how he died. Because right now I'm too petty to probably choose with the option to sympathize. So ask how he died. If you're so bored, then how did it happen? How did you die? Min stares at me for a long moment, his expression unreadable. Oh, the origin story question. How original. Then what do you want me to ask, aside from sympathizing with you? I don't even know. Well, if you must know, I was a tragic poet. I died of a broken heart under a weeping willow in the rain. Well, Min, sometimes you survive long enough to see yourself becoming the devil. So I'm going to run with this as well and prove I am a better fanfic writer than you. Okay? Because you're fooling no one. But if we were to continue with this BS storyline, you would probably be a ghost stuck under that willow, forever crying and wailing, and you had become a story that was used to warn children to not enter that particular forest with the weeping willow at night time. And then one day, a young, innocent girl or guy or non-binary person had decided that the cries just sounded too painful for them to ignore. And due to their soft heart, they ended up following the sounds towards that weeping willow of which you were cursed and tied upon. And they just so happened to conveniently be a descendant of your first love, which is the reason why you had attached yourself to that weeping willow, even though you died, because that was the place where you and your lover met and, had the promise of marrying before something happened to one of you that kind of violently teared the other away. And then after they talk to you and tie up all the loose emotional ends, you'll be freed from the weeping willow, and it will no longer just look like a depressing, grey, cursed weeping willow, but it will now flourish into the most beautiful green weeping willow. Very romantic, right? That sounds like absolute bullshit. Well, MC was way more fast and efficient to the point than I was. But sometimes it just feels good to soapbox out of pettiness. Because it is. He lets out a sharp, barking laugh and leans back on his elbows, looking entirely too pleased with himself. Tragedy is for people who didn't have a choice in their ending. I, on the other hand, had a blast. A blast? But you're dead. And yet, I'm still living more than you. He sits up, his playful energy shifting into something sharper. He starts tracing a pattern on the bed sheets with a pale finger. I certainly hope he's not envisioning that as our throat right now, and I certainly hope that his nails aren't sharp. It looks like he's drawing a jagged line. Oh yeah, this is so death flag ending coded. Let's just say, back in the 80s, people knew my name. Oh wow, man, you're really showing your age here. Back in the olden days, back in the good old days.
I'm tired of this, Grandpa.
That's too damn bad!
They didn't just avoid me. They locked their doors, checked their closets, and prayed to the gods they didn't believe in just to say hi to tomorrow. You were a serial killer? I was an artist whose medium happened to be terror. But people have such short memories these days. Min? It's not that they have short memories, it's because you traumatize them, and trauma leads to short-term memory. What happened to you? My actions bit back. Hard. Turns out, when you spend your life being the shark, eventually the ocean decides it's had enough of you. But that's all the law you get for today. Spoilers, you know. He looks around your room with a mix of disdain and hunger. Okay, Min, you can't judge. The affordability of housing these days is much more different to your good old days back then. The headlines are gone. The fear has turned into campfire stories. It's insulting. So that's why you're here. Why you're still doing this. I'm reclaiming my throne. I don't want your sympathy, darling. I think we aren't meant to take the popular saying, "Slay, king," literally, Min. I want that look in your eyes. What look? He reaches out, tapping the tip of my nose with a finger that feels like ice. The look that says you'll never, ever forget me. Wow, insecure attachment style much, Min. What about we sit down for therapy instead? You're just a narcissist, so you're just a has-been, and is that why you're so annoying? Oh, wow. You know what? Because I know I'm going to die. I know I'm going to die, and I've accepted it now. I'm just going to really say the loud thought that is in my mind that is very, very rude, and I shouldn't do when I'm faced with a serial killer. So you're just a has-been. A has-been? That's not very nice. Do I need to remind you, Min, that how you treat others gets reflected back at you? If you want to be treated kindly, you should treat other people kindly. And you know what? Just because I'm petty and I like bringing up things from the past because of a good memory. You said I had daddy issues, but it seems like one of your parental figures left too because no one taught you manners. Be careful. I might come by another night to pluck your tongue out in your sleep. Ooh, kinky. He sighs, the tension in the room shifting from deadly back to uncomfortably casual as he stretches out on the mattress. When they say sleep with your enemies, like keep your friends close but your enemies closer, I don't think it's meant to be that we're keeping a serial killer in our bed. Anyway, enough about my glory days. They were fun, they were bloody, and they ended with a bang. Literally. He looks me up and down, his head tilting in that predatory, curious way again. But we have a problem. I'm bored, you're still alive, and I'm starting to think you're keeping secrets from me too. I'm not keeping secrets! Everyone has secrets, and I'm a very curious soul. So, tell me about yourself. Now, I don't know what's more scary, Min, or a job application or an interview. Why am I sitting down for an interview? We're not on a date and there's nothing to tell. Well, Min, we're not on an interview. We're certainly not on a date, so we're not on a date. What kind of first date question is that? It's a perfectly normal question to ask. What sort of social interactions are you referencing, Min? Obviously not very normal ones because you're normally in the dynamic of murderer and victim. So yeah, don't go saying this as if you know this is completely normal logic and general knowledge to have. My God, what kind of dates have you been going on? Obviously ones that are not with serial killers. I don't go on much dates. So, what you mean is that you're single. Okay there, Min. Obviously you're interested in someone. It's none of your business. Alright, fine. It's okay if you don't want to. Is he going to stop trying to pry? You don't have to, because I already know a lot about you. What? What do you mean you know a lot about me? We just met. Oh, we just met. But I've been getting acquainted with your routine for quite some time now. For instance, you always double check the front door lock, but you completely forget about the window in the laundry room. And you make that adorable little face whenever you're reading something you don't like on your phone. You've been watching me? Watching? You make me sound like a stalker. Min? It's not that I'm making you sound like a stalker. You resonate with that description because you are a stalker. You are a stalker, exactly. I am simply learning about you. I even know that you tug on your plushie in your sleep whenever you get nightmares. So cute. I feel like... Alright. I oscillate between wanting to really let it loose and also trying to survive. And right now, he's creeping me out. And I feel like I do want to retain my life. All of a sudden, I've changed my mind. So let's just say that's actually kind of sweet. You've been paying that much attention to me? Honestly, it's kind of sweet. Okay, I didn't expect that choice response will play it like that. I thought it was going to be more sarcastic for the sake of living. But let's keep on rolling with it. Nobody really notices the little things I do. Min freezes. For a second, the room is deathly silent. Oh, you think I'm sweet? He lets out a soft, airy chuckle that vibrates in the back of his throat. He leans in so close I can feel the unnatural stillness of his breath. You really are a special kind of creature, aren't you? Most people start crying or looking for a heavy object to hit me with. Valid? But you're practically thanking me for the surveillance. I just think it's nice to be noticed. Haha, you're so adorable. You make it so hard for me to hold back. So abruptly, he travels down and buries his face into my neck. His breath brushed against my skin oh so gently. Cold. He shifts his position, climbing on top of me as he pins my body down to the bed. What are you? I like you a lot, darling. It's not very often I meet people who appreciate my art. His art? Is he talking about his stalking? The canvas may be stained with blood, but that is where the beauty lies. No? Ah, he's talking about his murders. Why is he suddenly getting poetic? I'm very fascinated by you, darling. Is he going to kill me? The fact that we've gone so long and MC... Maybe she has said it, and I'm just traumatized that I've conveniently forgotten. So I won't say anything. I'll hold my tongue. Oh! I was too occupied with my thoughts. I didn't realize he had taken his shirt off. I mean, maybe instead of penetrating me with some... penetrating us with some force from something like a knife and making us bleed, he's gonna make us bleed with his piston instead. Anyway, as his shirt hits the floor, my heart does a frantic, uneven dance against my ribs. It's not just fear, it's a terrifying rush of adrenaline. He looks perfect, in an almost uncanny way that makes my head swim. I know what he is. I know what he's done. But as he leans over me, his eyes locked onto mine with an intensity that made me want to give in. What's bothering your mind, dear? You've been quiet for a very long time. Before I can answer, he lets out a soft chuckle. I know you want this just as much as I do. So how about we stop beating around the bush?
You shaved your bush Trump impressions. Give me supportive.
You shaved your bush. Wow. I like it. I mean, I like the design. You gave it a little low taper fade. It looks great, quite frankly.
Whoa, man. If we're talking about my bush, what? No prior preparation? No getting into the mood? Unless the palpitations and anxiety I was feeling was that preparation to get my body ready. He traces his fingers down my chest with such gentleness. I almost forgot this man was a killer. Your skin, so soft, blank, just as a canvas would be. Oh, how I would love to place my marks all over it. Well, I certainly hope those marks are bruises and not like lethal bites out of my neck so that I will choke and gurgle and essentially like choke on my blood. What do you say? May I create a masterpiece out of you? Yes? No, get off me! You know what? I resign to my fate. Even if we put up a resistance, it's going to result in the same ending. Us dying. So let's say yes. I nod slowly, my heart hammering against my ribs. There's a strange hypnotic pull to him, a danger that feels like a drug. He smiles, a soft, almost genuine-looking expression as he pulls me down into the pillows. Good choice, darling. You taste so much better when you're willing. For a moment, it's almost like a dream. His touch is icy, but the way he looks at me is so focused, so intense, that I actually feel alive. For the first time in years, someone is looking at me like I'm the only thing in the world. He whispers sweet words against my skin, and I find myself wanting to believe them. Min's weight settles between my thighs, his skin feeling like frozen marble against my own. The heat of my body tries to fight the chill he radiates, yet it was too intoxicating. He moves with a slow, agonizing rhythm, his hand sliding down to cup my face, forcing me to look at him as he sinks into me. It's an invasive, numbing sensation. I gasp, my back arching off the mattress as my nerves struggle to process the cold. That's it. Take it all. Such a good pet. Wow, so that was why you were trying to take all 9 of my lives? You wanted me to be your cat, your pet. You were testing my will and determination and suitability to be that. And you know what? It's ironic that he wants us to be he wants us to identify as female or feminine leaning, to be his kitty, his pussy, his cat, because we all know about those euphemisms. We all know.
Pussy tight, pussy clean, pussy.
He leans down, his mouth devouring mine. There is no warmth in the kiss, only the taste of iron and the crushing force of his hunger. My hands scramble across his bare back, nails digging into shoulders that feel hard as stone, desperate for more. Getting desperate now, are we? The friction of our bodies is the only thing keeping me from freezing solid. He's relentless, his movements becoming faster, more desperate, as if he's trying to drain the very heat from my marrow to warm his own dead soul. This reminds me of like these really old memes about a Court of Thorns and Roses series where it's like, I felt it in the marrow of my bones. It just threw me back. I'm lost in it. The paradox of the pain and the pleasure. The way my body betrays me by wanting more of this beautiful, murderous thing. I reach the peak of it just as he let out a low, dark sound of triumph. I'm shaking, vulnerable, and completely open. And that's when I feel his hands leave my waist. They don't move to hold me. They move to my throat. You really thought you could escape this, didn't you? I told you. I'm a killer. Everything else, this is just the appetizer. Well, Min, this wasn't in the contract. When I thought we were drawing up like a with benefits thing, I thought the benefits that we're thinking of were the same. But apparently the benefit that he perceived was getting our cold, dead body. He leans in for one last passionate kiss. I appreciate the flattery, but I'm still a man. I don't think the definition of a man is a serial killer? Like, let me just search that up on the internet, because apparently I'm not possessing this general knowledge. Death ending, deflowering. You know, back then, I used to joke that math was the one thing that would bend me over, pin me down, and absolutely violate me because it used to always screw with my score. Nothing had ever beaten it, except men. This game has literally been life-changing for me. Literally. Kudos to you, Father. You've done something that no one else had ever done before. Find me a foe that is worse than mathematics. Newsflash, so apparently I'm a masochist, so we're back at it again. It's probably not any new news, considering that I'm still trying, even after like 3 deaths in a row. So, anyhow, let's select this time. There is nothing to tell. There's really nothing noteworthy about me to tell. Really? Not even your favorite color? Truly the most invigorating question on the planet. Your hobbies? Your MBTI? I really love MBTI, actually. A lot of people use the 16p site to determine their MBTI type, which is so annoying because not accurate at all. You're actually supposed to look at your cognitive function. What the F is he talking about? He just keeps rambling. And that's why I'm actually an ENTP. Sorry for the ramble. What about you, my dear? Alright, fine. It's okay if you don't want to. Is he going to stop trying to pry? You don't have to, because I already know a lot about you. What? What do you mean you know a lot about me? We just met. Min, do I need to remind you that you tried to ask me what my favorite color is? Which is the sort of question that we asked when doing icebreakers with strangers? Oh, we just met. But I've been getting acquainted with your routine for quite some time now. For instance, you always double check the front door lock, but you completely forget the window in the laundry room. And you make that adorable little face whenever you're reading something you don't like on your phone. You've been watching me? Watching? You make me sound like a stalker. You are a stalker. I am simply learning about you. I even know that you tug on your plushie in your sleep whenever you get nightmares. So cute. I am starting to lose my sense of reality. My confidence in my own judgment. You know what? Maybe I'll just choose the option that I would be screaming in my head when dealing with a murderer. What the F? Learn some manners, you creep. You're a disgusting creep. You need to learn some manners. Min pauses. For a second, I think I've actually offended him. But then a low, bubbling chuckle starts in his chest, growing into a full melodic laugh that rings out through the cold room. Learn some manners? Oh, darling, you are absolutely precious. He doesn't look insulted. He looks like a man who just found a $20 bill on the sidewalk. Maybe he's the masochist and not me? Am I matching his freak or is he matching mine? He leans forward, his eyes shimmering with a terrifying, playful light. You're talking to a man who turned an entire decade into a folktale, and you're scolding me like I'm a child who trekked mud onto the carpet. Well, Min, with that face, you might as well just say that you like being talked down on. You know, you like that derogatory talk. I mean it. Get out of my house.
Huh? What are you doing in my swamp?
He leans closer, moving with a fluid, predatory grace. He doesn't yell. He glides towards me, looking genuinely delighted. You better not throw a tantrum over this. I love this. I really do. Most people scream, or they pray, or they beg. But you try to discipline the monster in your bedroom. Well, in any other context, I would genuinely be thinking of something else. Like, ooh, monster. How are we going to tame it today? But no, this is a literal monster. Not the metaphorical sort that we would like to ride. It's so refreshingly arrogant. I almost want to keep you. He reaches out, his hand cupping my cheek with an icy, mocking tenderness. But manners are important, aren't they? And it's quite rude to keep a guest waiting for the main event. What are you? You don't tolerate tantrums? That's a shame. He gets on top of me, pinning me down with a violent force. Because I don't either. Death ending brat taming? Okay, I guess I was kind of a brat. Bratted too close to the sun, huh? Okay, alright. You've been watching me this whole time? What a pervert. Min actually lets out a genuine bark of laughter, leaning back on his hands. He looks entirely too comfortable for a man who's in someone else's house. You've asked that twice now, darling. What, are you so hung up on the fact that you're actually being watched? I feel a flush of heat crawl up my neck, half embarrassment, half lingering terror. So what, you just hang around the neighborhood? Yeah, especially around your laundry drying outside. Min says it with a gleeful smile. He then reaches into the pocket of his pants, not with his hand, but with a shadowy tendril that sprouted from his back. What? Genuinely what? I thought your biggest crime was that you literally murdered people for an entire decade. But nah. Did you just stuff someone's panties in your pants? Like, why did you need it there, Min? It's a pair of my lace panties. The one I thought I lost in the laundry weeks ago. Where did you get that? He looks at me like I just said something stupid. Around your laundry drying outside. You know, you really should be more careful with where you leave your things lying around. If I hadn't taken this with me, some weird creep might have. Min, I'm going to gently redirect you to the mirror inside my room and turn on the light, just so you can see yourself right now. I'm also going to make you repeat the exact same lines you said. That you saw my panties hanging outside and decided to take it so a weird creep won't. But you took it, so you are the creep. You're the weird creep. He brings the fabric close to his face, closing his eyes for a brief second. Is he an actual panty sniffer? I guess there's worse things to realize about him, like the fact that he's an actual murderer. He likes really poorly executed dad jokes, and then he's a panty sniffer. I don't know. I didn't list that in order of severity, but like those are the top 3 for me. Oh wait, he's a gaslighter. Is he sniffing it? Besides, they were just gathering dust. I'm giving them a much more... Wow, way to say that we don't pull any bitches, men. Appreciation-filled home. You're looking at me like I committed a crime. Trust me, this is the least of the things you should be worrying about. You can say that again. So far, he seems to really like answering my questions. What do I ask him next? Why are you here and what do you want from me? Let's select this one. What do you want from me? If you're not going to kill me, what's the point of all this? What do I want? I want a front row seat. You're like a flickering light of entertainment in a very dark room, and I've always been a fan of the show. Are you calling me a clown? Ouch. Yes, dickhead. Is there anything else I want to ask? Well, after being flamed like that, I don't know whether I want to ask any more questions. Yeah. Oh. Huh. Let's say, can other people see you? Can anyone else see you? Or is it just me? He throws his head back and laughs, the sound echoing unnaturally, as it's coming from the walls themselves. Oh, they could see me if I wanted them to. But why would I share the spotlight? I'm very selective about my audience. Most people are too boring to waste my good looks on. You should be honored. You're the only one getting the private screening. Every answer he gives me just brings up even more questions. Is there anything else I want to ask? Let's stop asking questions. I swallow hard, my throat feeling dry and tight. I can tell I'm pushing his patience, especially with the look of that smile on his face. It's giving me, well, I don't want to deal with any more questions. I think that's enough questions for now. Min's grin returns, wider and more friendly than before, though he does nothing to settle my nerves. Good choice. I was starting to think I was back in school, and I always hated school. Now, since we're done with the Q&A session, are your neighbours usually this loud? Conveniently, always at 3 a.m. when I'm trying to sleep. Yeah. Now, is this the first good thing that Min is going to do for us in the entire game ever? Is he going to eliminate someone who always annoys us on a daily basis? Like, wow. Min, you flatter me. You don't have to go that far for poor old little me. Where the F did he go? What the F was that? Everything is so quiet. Where's Min? Let's wait for him. I should probably just wait here. I'm scared. Why is it getting darker? Min? Holy shit! Oh my god. Oh, fuck. Oh my god. Alright, be still, my heart. Oh god. Just as quickly as he lunged, he's back in his original spot, laughing softly at my heart-shattering terror. Oh, you should see your face. Absolutely priceless. Well, it was absolutely priceless because my heart almost jumped out of my chest. And do you know how much a heart is worth on the black market? What an asshole. Hey, don't look at me like that. Come on, it was just a little funny. Whatever. What did you do to them? And what the F was that? The neighbors, I politely told them to stay quiet. Politely. Yeah, sure. What about that thing you did? The creepy face. Oh, this? Relax, it's just my Mandela catalog face. I really want to research on what people find scary, and I stumbled upon... There he goes rambling. I tune out most of what he's talking about, because I need time to recover from his DIY jump scare. Pretty cool, right? No, it was not cool. Haha, no, please keep it away from me. I will make sure to do it more often. Noted. What the F? I like that look on your face. Min falls silent. The teasing glint in his eyes doesn't disappear, but it settles into something warmer. He looks at me, really looks at me, as if he's memorizing the way the moonlight hits my face. You know, darling. He reaches out. For the first time, he doesn't lunge or mock. His ghostly fingers hover just a fraction of an inch from my cheek. I can feel the static, a localized chill that makes the hair on my arms stand up. I haven't had this much fun talking to someone since the lights went out. Is that supposed to be a compliment, coming from a serial killer? It's the highest praise I have. Most people, they're so predictable. They beg, they fight, they die. They break before the first act is even over. But you're still standing, still vivid. Your attention is fully on me. I like it. His hand moves to my hair, his fingers combing through the air around the strands. It's a gesture that feels terrifyingly possessive. It's nice to have an audience. I've always loved being admired. But that look of fear and curiosity in your eyes, to be witnessed by you, Min? I know that look. Don't get sentimental on me, darling. It ruins my brand. He leans in. His face inches from mine. His voice drops to a whisper that vibrates in my very bones. I don't want to lose you, especially not to myself. He stands up, the shadows around him beginning to swirl as if he's losing his grip on this reality. He looks towards the window. The night has gone for far too long. You should get some rest, darling. Let him leave and make him stay. You know what? I think I'm going delusional from the amount that I've died in this playthrough already. So let's make him stay. Wait, don't go. Stay. I don't want to be alone. The shadows in the room freeze. Min stops mid-flicker, his back towards me. For a long, silent moment, I think I've made a mistake. Then he turns slowly, a look of genuine, stunned disbelief on his face. You're serious? You're actually asking a monster to spend the night? You really must have the survival instincts of a goldfish. Taunt and tease me all you want, but my decision has been made. He chuckles, but it's a soft, breathy sound, no mockery left in it. He moves back towards the bed, the air around him humming with a low, melodic vibration. What is it that you're alluding to, darling? I reach for the hem of his shirt and begin to undress him as though I was peeling away his layers. The man flinched momentarily, but quickly regained his demeanor. How terribly bold. Still not running? You really are a glutton for punishment. I reach out, my fingers trembling. I touch his chest. He feels like ice and velvet. Slowly, I move my hand up, towards his jaw, towards the face that has spent the night mocking and terrifying me. The moment my fingers brush his skin, Min flinches. It's a purely animalistic reaction. From behind his back, a dark, shadowy tendril lashes out, wrapping firmly around my wrist and pulling my hand away from his face. Don't. His voice isn't cocky now. It's jagged, rough. He looks away, his teeth clenched. Min, it's okay. Let me. I'm right here. I don't pull away. I keep my gaze steady on his, softening my voice until it's just a whisper. I can feel the tendril around my wrist trembling, its grip loosening as his panic fades into a shaky, uncertain surrender. The shadow retreats, melting back into his form. He slowly turns his face back to mine, looking at me with an expression of raw vulnerability that hurts to witness. I cup his cheek. This time he doesn't pull away. Instead, he leans into my palm, letting out a long, shuddering breath. He lifts his own hand, placing his cold, long fingers over mine, pressing my hand harder against his face, as if he's afraid I'll disappear if he lets go. You're a dangerous little thing, aren't you? What have you turned me into? He closes his eyes, his thumb stroking the back of my hand, leaning his face into it. Min's hand is still pressed against mine, but the warmth, if you could call it that, begins to sharpen. The silver veins in his skin pulse faster, glowing with a hungry, frantic light. You're so soft, so warm. It's almost a waste to let all that life just sit there, to let time rot it away eventually. Hey now, since you are cold, wouldn't it be more efficient to use me as like your heater for the rest of your life? Instead of like contemplating to let it spill out in the form of blood coming out of my form? He kisses my palm, his teeth grazing the skin just hard enough to leave a mark. His eyes are dark, swirling with a desperate, possessive need. I want you, darling. Not just for tonight. Not just for as long as your heart decides to beat. I want to devour you. Well, that's not the sort of eating out that I was expecting. Disappointing. I want to take every drop of that life, every ounce of that spirit, and pull it into me. You'd be a part of me. I'll be gentle, I promise. It'll be the last thing you ever feel, and the best. Just say yes. Tell me you're mine to take. Well, you said that. Did you say you have daddy issues? No, you said I have daddy issues, so I'm going to give you issues as well. After this vulnerable moment, to return back for all the gaslighting that you did, I'll say, no, I want to live. No, Min, stop. I want to live. I want to be with you, but not like that. Please, don't do this. The air in the room instantly curdles. The low hum of his presence turns into a high-pitched, screeching static. Min's face contorts, the vulnerability from moments ago twisting into a mask of pure, unadulterated anxiety. No? He lets out a jagged, hysterical laugh, his form flickering wildly, shadows lashing out from behind his back like dying wings. You want to live? Out there? Away from me? Where you'll grow old? Where someone else might look at you? Where you'll eventually leave me behind in this dust? I won't let you. He lunges. There is no devil-may-care attitude left. This is a predator realized. His hands pin my shoulders to the mattress with the strength of iron, and for the first time, I see his jaw unhinged just slightly too wide. Min, please! He doesn't listen. He is a storm of teeth and cold, dark hunger. He leans to my throat, not for a kiss, but for a claim. The pain is sharp, hot, and then, suddenly, terrifyingly cold. I can feel him, not just his body, but his hunger tearing into me. It's visceral. It's the sound of wet skin ripping, the metallic tang of copper filling the air. He is sobbing even as he does it, a horrific, wet sound against my skin. Mine, you're mine. If I can't have you alive, I'll keep you inside me forever. Min, don't you need to defecate? My vision starts to spot. The room is fading into grey. The last thing I feel is the crushing weight of his embrace and the terrifying sensation of being swallowed by the dark. Bad ending, consumed by love. His fear of losing you outweighed his sanity. You are his now, every drop, every bone, every breath, forever held in the stomach of shadows. Now let's choose the other option. Yes, take me. Yes, take me. If this is the only ways to be yours, then do it. The world seems to tilt. Min's breath is cold, non-existent, yet somehow hitches in his throat. The shadows that were lashing out in a frenzy suddenly go still, dropping to the floor like heavy velvet. You'd really let me? He leans down, his face inches from mine. I could see the flicker of hope in his eyes, a ghost of when he was just a man. But the red hunger is still there, pulsing in time with the silver veins on his neck. You're not lying. You're not stalling. You're actually giving yourself to me. I trust you, Min, more than I'm afraid of you. He lets out a sound that is a half laugh, half sob. He crawls over me, his weight feeling like a literal shadow, heavy, cold, and inescapable. His hands, usually so restless and mocking, settle firmly against my wrists, pinning them to the pillow. But he isn't squeezing. He's holding. I've wanted to hear those words for decades. He lowers his head, his lips grazing the sensitive skin of my throat. It's an agonizingly slow crawl towards the end. Every touch feels like a static shock. I feel his jaw unhinge, the cold air of his inside hitting my skin. The sharp point of his teeth presses against my pulse. One more second, one more breath, and I'll be gone. I close my eyes. I don't fight. I don't even tremble. The pressure of his teeth increases, then stops. A drop of something cold hits my collarbone, then another. I open my eyes, confused, only to see Min staring down at me, his face contorted in a way that looks like he's being torn apart from the inside. No. He recoils, scrambling backwards across the bed as if I burned him. He hits the headboard, his chest heaving with phantom breaths. What is wrong with you? Why didn't you scream? Why did you look at me like, Min, you are going to let me destroy the only thing that actually matters. You know what? I feel like this is the first time that Min is actually more logical than us. I was going to swallow you. I was going to be alone again. But this time it would have been my fault. He covers his face with his hands, his long ghostly fingers shaking. I can't do it. I can't turn you into a witness who can't speak back. He looks up at me, his eyes wide and drowning in a very human grief. I love the way you move too much. I love the way you talk back to me too much. I think I've accidentally become the one who belongs to you. Min. Before I can utter a word, Min melts into my arms, burying his face into my chest. He stays there for a long time, his forehead pressed against the back of my hand. The frantic energy in the room has died down into a low, steady thrum-like the purr of a massive cat. Min, it's okay. I'm still here. He doesn't look up, but I feel his grip tighten slightly, not with the iron strength from before, but with a desperate, anchoring need. I don't deserve the light you're giving me, darling, but I think I'm too selfish to let it go now. Slowly, the adrenaline begins to drain from my body, replaced by a heavy, soul-deep exhaustion. I sink back into the pillows, and I feel him follow. As my eyes flutter shut, the last thing I feel is a sensation of ghostly fingers tracing the line of my jaw, light as a feather and twice as careful. True ending, Domesticated. You know, the irony is not lost on me that it only took me a grand total of 6 times to reach an ending where I survive. The devil's number, if I'm being completely honest. Maybe it's just the higher beings wanted me to taste a beautiful serving of irony. Because, you know, Min's a supernatural monster. Huh. I guess you did manage to keep the dog on a leash this time, which is let him leave. Thank you. Min stands perfectly still. The air in the room, which had been vibrating with this energy, suddenly goes flat and cold. For a moment, I think I see a flicker of genuine hurt across his face, but it's gone before I can be sure. Right, of course. He walks towards the window, his form becoming more transparent with every step. The moonlight bleeds through the glass, making him look like a fading photograph. Will I see you again? No, I don't think you will. You're far too delicious, darling. If I stay, I feel I'll eventually want to devour you whole. And then, he's gone. The weight in the room lifts, the static in the air vanishes. I'm alone in my bedroom with nothing but a small writing on the wall to prove he was ever here. Good ending, The Witness. He left to keep you alive. You are the only person who truly knew him, and the only one he ever let go. So, let's speed run the remaining 2 endings, which I suppose are death endings. So, let's choose the option that is going to be leading us to our demise. Ew. Who the hell do you think you are? My face contorted in disgust. Get the F off of me, you sick perv! I brashly shoved him off. Or at least, I tried to anyway. He doesn't move much. What? The F? Hey, did you not hear me? Ew. For a second, he looked offended. But that didn't exactly last long until it quickly turned into some sick amusement. Wow, you have quite the mouth on you. Well, if you consider it to be too dirty for your liking, you should clean it out. Maybe with your tongue or your shadow-like appendages. But will that work? I'll probably end up a drooling mess. For someone so effing tiny. He scoffs. Then it tumbles into a fit of shameless cackling. What an asshole. It kind of just calls for it when a certain someone grabs my face uninvited. That seemed to amuse him even more. A playful hum slips out from his voice. He's seriously getting on my nerves. So angry. I don't take kindly to strangers like you. All right, I'll get off. Besides, I'm not a stranger. I'm Min. Well, apparently, Min means cleverness, quickness, and sharpness of mind. I actually went to search it up because I was interested. Which evidently through this playthrough, I am demonstrating I have no possession of. If I was quick of mind, I wouldn't have died 5 times prior to getting an ending, which I survived. So this concept, and by extension you, is a stranger to me. Hee hee. So, do you just stay indoors all day? Don't you have friends your age? Of course I do. That was a lie. Okay, then you definitely should have heard about me. What is this guy on about? I've heard stories, but they don't usually involve the monster insulting my social life. Well, the stories are usually written by bystanders who have little to no information about me. It's a real tragedy, honestly. So, what's the local gossip? Am I a vengeful spirit? A demon? Oh, a super handsome yandere serial killer cannibal that all the ladies fall for? If it's a third one, I'm impressed. They mostly say you're something to avoid. Avoid? Wow, that is so boring. People are so pedestrian. He shifts his weight, sitting cross-legged on the mattress like he's about to start a sleepover gossip session, though his eyes still have that unsettling glow. Be honest, if I decide to actually bite you right now, would you give me a really loud, ugly screech? You're making me uncomfortable. Of course I am. I'm a great harasser. Was that an IDV reference? Plus, you look like you taste like, cookies, cream, and daddy issues. I think this is one again. Daddy issues. You're insane. I'm not insane. I'm Min. Okay, that's enough. Hee, sorry. I'm just very excited to talk to you. This guy is starting to feel more like an annoyance than a threat. You know, killing is easy, but finding someone who actually stays awake long enough to be interesting, that's a 1 in a trillion. No, don't. You're the 1 in my trillion. Oh my effing god. It's as shrimple as that. I'll shove a shrimp in your mouth. Right, whatever. What's your deal anyway, aside from being a creep? He pauses. For a split second, the annoying know-it-all grin drops, and he just looks tired. I just want someone to look at me and not run away immediately. It gets repetitive. You kill people because you're bored? Don't make it sound so depressing. You'd do the same if you were in my shoes. There's really not much to do when you're dead, you know. Yeah, this is the option to let us die. Sympathize with him. I'm so sorry. I understand what it's like. Oh yeah, we are definitely getting one of the remaining death endings with this one. Because how dare I say I understand him? Even with the 2 good endings I got, I still don't understand how I survived. You understand? You, a living, breathing human with a heartbeat and a future, think you get what it's like? Hey now, I might have the first 3 characteristics you mentioned, like living, breathing, and I'm human, but the future you're thinking of for me is probably way too generous. It's about as bright as your face looks like right now. Pitch black, empty, soulless. The most I can hope for is to slave away in this capitalist society and hope I don't have to count my pennies at the end of each week. I'm centuries old. You've barely lived. You don't have an inkling of how I feel. Well, I may not, but being stuck in a loop, feeling invisible, it's lonely. I know what it's like to just want someone to notice you're there. I'm sorry you had to go through that alone, Min. The air in the room shifts. The sharp, mocking pressure of his presence seems to deflate. He looks away, his shoulders slumped. You're remarkably persistent with that kindness, aren't you? It's almost annoying. He shifts closer, stopping just a few inches away, his cold hand resting palm up on the duvet between us. I wasn't always this thing. I had a life, a real one. I had a sister who used to wait for me by the gate every evening. The last thing I remember is the cold, waiting for someone to come home, but the house stayed dark. Well, kind of makes sense if he's a younger brother with how quickly he changes up. And see, I generally don't understand him still because I thought he would kill us by now. But I guess it's not a matter of if, but when. We're gonna still be destined to die after that choice, but it's just being delayed. Reach out to him. I hesitate, then slowly place my hand on his cheek. He doesn't pull away. His skin feels like ice. But that gaze, he's pleading. Now I'm just a restless ghost, a name whispered to scare children. Do you know how it feels to be forgotten while you're still standing right there? It's okay now, Min. I'm here. I see you. He looks up, and for a moment, his eyes look almost watery, human, vulnerable. You really mean it? You wouldn't just leave like the others? I promise. He lets out a shaky breath and leans forward, resting his forehead against my shoulder. The movement is so fragile it makes my chest ache. I find myself wrapping an arm around him, pulling this monster into a protective embrace. He feels so small like this. You don't have to be a monster with me. A long silence follows. I could feel him trembling against me. I close my eyes, thinking I've actually reached him, thinking I saved us both. Then the trembling changes. It's not a sob. It's a rhythmic, low-frequency vibration. He's vibrating with laughter. He pulls back, his head snapping up. The tears are gone, replaced by a manic, diamond-bright glint of pure malice. Oh my God, I can't actually believe it. A sister? A gate? What gate? A gate to the heavens? Min, what are you? You said I promise, like a protagonist in a bad romance novel. Wait, stop. He claps his hands together, his laugh bouncing off the walls. He looks at me with pure, unadulterated disgust. I knew you were a bit slow, but that was a masterclass in stupidity. What? Do you want to be your name that badly? Did you really think some power of friendship speech was going to fix a century of rot? His expression sours, stretching into a wide, jagged grin that looks painful. Speaking of century, I lied. I died in 1984. Before I can move, he lunges. He doesn't just pin me, he slams me back into the headboard with enough force to make my teeth rattle. Now, Min, maybe instead of you just taking my meat, you can also take my set of pearly whites as well. It'll probably help you with your future victims, and it'll help sell your remarkable acting even more. I told you, I kill because I'm bored. And watching you melt into a puddle of sympathy was the most entertaining thing I've seen in decades. His hands lock around my throat. Min, please. Why? You gave me your heart on a silver platter, darling. It would be rude not to take a bite. He leans down, his teeth baring in a jagged, hungry grin right against my ear. His voice is a cold, final caress. Tender hearts like yours are much more delicious. Death ending, easy prey. In a land of monsters, a kind soul is simply just dinner. Why are you here? Out of all the houses in this town, why did you pick mine? Because we're destined to meet by fate. I died due to a curse. All my afterlife, I've been searching for the one person who can lift it. And you, my dear, have the blood of a shaman who has such power. That's why you're able to talk to an entitlee like me. Min, I'm suing for copyright because why is it almost exactly like the fake storyline I made up for you? I carefully think to myself after hearing his words. I do remember always being a little different growing up. Always thought I was just schizophrenic for the things I could see and hear that no one else could. If this is the case, everything makes sense. Really? Is that true? Of course not, dumbass. I pulled that out of my ass. Anyone with eyes will be able to see me if I show myself to them. Never mind, I guess I was schizophrenic. Is there anything else I want to ask? Can other people see you? And we're just gonna speed run through this just to go to ask one more thing. Ask just one more thing. Okay, just one more thing. I need to know. What is it? What is your body made out of? Do you have flesh? Bones? Sugar, spice, everything nice and a pinch of charm. That's a stupid answer. That's a stupid question. There's more I want to know. Do you eat humans? Do you eat humans? What other stuff do you eat? I can eat anything you can, but I like to speak to human meat. I can eat anything you like, but I like to stick to human meat. I specifically preferred unemployed girls who stay inside all day playing video games. Very tender. Bold of you to assume I'm unemployed. Those are just baseless allegations. How do you pick your victims? How do you pick your victims? Just by preference, or something more like by how much they are able to annoy me? Then what about with stupid questions like these? Suddenly, his voice drops to an unsettling low. The world around me darkens, just as the face of the man sitting in front of me. Wait, did I do something wrong? Yeah. You ask too many questions. Death ending, dead cat. Next time, learn to keep your mouth shut. Well, thank you so much for sitting to the end of this video. I hope that you enjoyed. If you did, please like and subscribe. I hope to see you in the next video as well.